So we've all heard the news. J.J. Watt has been released. Yes, J.J. Watt this morning by the Texans went public, requested a release, and then it went out in the NFL, and the Texans have released J.J. Watt. And yes, you're hearing me that. You're hearing that right. J.J. Watt has been released from the Texans, the organization that made his career. And basically in this video, I'm going to state what could have happened, there could be indicators for the future, because, another guy has declared trades named Deshaun Watson. However, before we get into the video, make sure to like and subscribe. All that information is going to be up here. Turn on those notifications, help me out a little bit, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, this is huge news because, of course, why J.J. Watt has not been too productive in the past couple years. This guy is basically a pinnacle for the Texans franchise. This guy is literally, for 4 to 5 years, he carried that Texans team to the leaders of their division. And it's really, really crazy because he's a Texans legend. Like, you think of the Texans, you instantly think of J.J. Watt. He had, racked up over 100 sacks in a Texas uniform, 100 sacks in a Texas uniform. And, of course, 2 years ago, he was still racking up 16 sacks. This could be a huge indicator for the future because, of course, we have the Deshaun Watson situation. The Texans, they let go of J.J. Watt, but J.J. Watt, let's be real, he hasn't been producing the past couple years. Not as good as he was producing a couple of years ago. And the indicator is, if they let go of J.J. Watt, who he was the one telling Deshaun Watson to get out of there. J.J. Watt was one of the main guys telling Deshaun Watson, so maybe they want to get rid of that influence. Maybe they want to keep Deshaun Watson, or maybe they're willing to trade him because those two guys have not cooperated. J.J. Watt has said he wants to win. He wants to go somewhere where he can win, and the Texans mutually decided to part ways. Same thing with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, he said that he wants to win. He doesn't want to be part of the Texans organization. Are the Texans going to part ways with him? And the reason why it's an indicator is because you see Deshaun Watson's pushing his way to get out of there. J.J. Watt didn't really push. He didn't really push too hard. He just let things go. And then I'm guessing one day him and the Texans met and he was like, okay, I don't like our situation right now. I would like if you release me. Then the Texans were probably like, well, okay, I think you're at the end of your career anyway. We can probably, do a mutual agreement. I'll pay you your money, stuff like that happen. The thing is, Deshaun Watson, they seem to be very, very, very interested in keeping him around. And it's crazy when you're considering they're trading away all their pieces. Like, within the last 2-3 years, the Texans have lost D-Hop, who is probably a top 5 wide receiver in the league. They've lost J.J. Watt, who at one point was the best defensive end in the NFL. They've lost Jadeveon Clowney, who at one point was also one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. Like, they've lost a lot, and you have to be concerned with this Texans organization because they have a new head coach that really nobody really knew. He came out of nowhere. Of course, Bill O'Brien got fired. They're in one mess right now. The Texans are in a mess. They have to pay Deshaun Watson. Of course, everybody's going to be going in free agency, so nobody's going to want to come over there. And give the fact that they have lost their first-round pick. They don't even have their first-round pick this year, or second-round pick, I believe. So the Texans are in a complete mess. The Texans are in a mess, and it's really, really difficult to watch because you see J.J. Watt and the impact that he had on that Texans franchise. He changed the franchise. He made them somewhat winners for a long time. Same thing with Deshaun Watson. They went 10-6 the year before this year, and even when against the Chiefs, held a 20-point lead against the Chiefs until, Patrick Mahomes hit that mode. He hit that next level. But it's crazy because looking back at a year ago, we had J.J. Watt, who was still one of the better pass rushers. Not quite what he once was, but he's still one of the better pass rushers. You had that Texas defense who was pretty good. You had D-Hop. You had a running game. Of course, you had Deshaun Watson. Like, you take a year back, and then you look right now, and you're like, what in the world happened? What's going on? There's nobody who could have guessed that J.J. Watt would be getting released due to a mutual agreement. A mutual agreement. The Texans even wanted this guy gone. A mutual agreement? Come on. That shows you that the Texans are not only not committed when it comes to keeping who Deshaun wants there, but it's like they're gonna go on a rebuild because I don't really know what you do. I mean, you've released your defensive end who's been your defensive guy for years and years, and Deshaun Watson, your best player on the team, wants to request a trade. Like, it's really a mess for the Houston Texans. It's crazy because you look at a year ago, you're like, what in the world is going on? What's going on with the Houston Texans organization? Man, that's all my reaction to it. I mean, I don't really have anything to say about it. There are possible places he could go, though, and I'm probably going to do a separate video on that, but off the top of my head, I think the Falcons could be a good place, but again, he hasn't been quite productive. However, he could be a leader on that defense. I think the Jaguars could low-key be a good case, too. They already have a good defense around him. Adding J.J. Watt next to, maybe another guy on the end, maybe... what did they get in the draft last year? They had Kayvon Chase on in the draft, C.J. Henderson. That young defense may be a veteran to really push those guys. Of course, you have also, off the top of my head, the Steelers. J.J. Watt next to his brother, guys, that could be crazy. Familiar with, they're brothers. Like, come on now. Like, you have to have them play on the same team. Like, just imagine T.J. Watt and J.J. Watt starting right next to each other on the end. Like, that would be insane, right? So, those are just 3 places I can name off the head. Like, off of my head, those are just 3 places that I can name that he could possibly go. However, Deshaun Watson, not Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, I think that you have a lot to think about because, of course, you're 31. You've been pretty injured in your career. You're not too great when it comes to staying healthy and being able to play, especially the past 3 years. However, I believe J.J. Watt, he can still be productive in the right defense. That's it for this video. That was just my simple, off the top of my head reaction. Thank you for watching. If you want to subscribe, go and subscribe. All that information was up here at the beginning of the video. So, anyhow, thank you for watching. You guys stay loved and stay blessed. I will catch you guys in the next episode.